Interestingly, I was watching. I like referring to Gareth Soloway. He teaches trading, which obviously I don't like, but he definitely is interesting. He's definitely charismatic. He said what would bring in the bottom and a serious pump to the upside is regulation. What's your take on that, Ben Dubar?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think there needs to be regulation. It's also like, I don't know. Like, I think that would be bullish, getting regulation. It's just, yeah, maybe institutions would be more likely to like go in, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I think regulation is big. I think a lot of it's cyclical. I think a lot of it's just fear and greed. But I mean, you could say what you want about regulation, but what you can't say is that it's not good for price. I think that's one thing you cannot say, because the big money wants regulation. The small money people want freedom. So, I mean, which one's really better for the price? I would have to say regulation.
Yeah, I also think like the normies, I guess, want like my brother who tells me crypto is a bad idea and it's going to fail. He told me, like last night, he was like, crypto really needs regulation. It needs regulation. So it's like
Yeah.
the media I feel like they could just flip a switch and be like, crypto is a good idea now. And they could pass in a regulation, but then everyone would be like, oh, well, it's regulated enough because everyone's saying it's regulated enough now. So it's more like, I don't know. They're just, the narrative flip could happen at any moment. I feel like these days, like you just put a narrative out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be true or false. And like if enough reliable big sources that have the credibility say it, people are just gonna be like, yeah. So
it's true. And I would say that is true. Price movement comes first, narrative comes second. But what I would say maybe is that regulation does represent buy-in, sort of the green light from governments, sort of thing. Like, so that is indicative that crypto has a future and it's here to stay. So I think that would definitely be, I mean, it's not necessarily the sign of the bottom. Like I keep saying, the bottom could already be in. We just won't know until it's too late.
right.
It may or may not be in. It certainly is very oversold, and I can't imagine many more people still in that would sell at these prices. I feel like the people that were prone to selling out of fear, uncertainty, and doubt already really let go. I feel like at this point it is the holders of last resort, like the more hardcore people. So I think the bottom could very easily be in. But again, you have the black swan events that, if a company's forced to liquidate, that could pull it down. But I can't see regulation being bearish. I just can't see it. I mean, a lot of people might not want to hear that, but objectively speaking, I cannot imagine regulation, being bearish.
Yeah. I don't really see that either, honestly.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there
I
you
mean,
go.
I'd enjoy some regulation, like seems fine. Like I don't see a way where they're just gonna like I don't think that's possible for them to just we're gonna outlaw these like it doesn't make any sense. So
They could make it very difficult. I think they could make it very difficult to moon. I mean, it could still be there, and you could still have these cypherpunks trading and things like that. But Vitalik actually touched on this in his Lex Friedman interview. Like, there could be some sort of, there's going to be like a niche of people that are just like into crypto, but for it to really achieve the adoption that it's striving to achieve, I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible without regulation. I just don't think it's possible.
yeah, and I think the Winklevoss twins, well, from the Bitcoin Billionaires book, that was kind of their thinking from the beginning with Bitcoin when it was like super, like they were the guys who were kind of like, we need to work with the government, with the regulators, but they were in, it was like all like super libertarian, and people were like, no, but they were kind of the ones who were like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were right I think they were right ultimately in terms of price appreciation, unless you're like a purist that just wants, wants to live in anarchism, whatever, like, with no government, no regulation, which I think is a little bit, delusional. Like it's a little bit of a philosophy not grounded in reality, to say the
Yeah.
least. Like to think that,
Here's my take on everything. Sorry, I cut you off.
yeah, go for it.
Well, my take on everything is like there's all these world's problems that are like, how is one person going to solve all this stuff in their lifetime? And you really can't. So my goal is like focus on myself and the people closest to me that I love, like my family, do the best I can for me and them. Because if you spend your time like toiling around with like the world's giant problems, like I don't know, it just seems pointless because I've been there, and it really hurt my mental health worrying about all these big giant things I have no control over.
Yeah.
So it's the way I see it. So
Yeah, that's an interesting way to see it, and it certainly may in the future. Once you have a lot of money, I think those are the kinds of things you could start focusing less on yourself and more on forming the world in your vision. I think that's really what philanthropy is. But yeah, for now, let's just get rich, bro. let's just get let's just get rich.
sir.
Regulate me. Regulate me, government.